Hello and welcome! My name's Heather, I'm a Registered Professional Counselor, and today I'm going to be watching Netflix series Love is Blind Season 2. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe for more analysis videos like this.
Oh, I was talking to the girl about capitalism.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I've seen this a lot of times with couples.
That I don't like in situations that are going to make this not work.
It didn't work today for us, you and me.
What's going on in my head? This stuff is going to cause big issues.
Yes. Why?
So something clearly happened within Danielle. She's starting to get triggered. She is starting to take it out on Nick and the relationship. I guess we'll have to see a little bit more as to why she's getting triggered. I don't know if it's necessarily because he left for 3 hours, but I think he had to because it's part of the show. Like, he had to go. And he even said the first thing when he came back was that he was trying to count down the minutes of when he could come back to see her, and maybe she needs more reassurance. And there was that whole conversation about him talking to someone else. I don't know who she's referring to, if it's just some random other guest at the hotel or the resort, or if it was another cast member. Long story short, this is definitely the type of conversations that I see a lot of time that couples would have, and it usually leads to a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of assumptions being made, and I'm guessing she's been experiencing some severe anxiety while he was gone, and she's just playing up in her head, horrible things about what he's doing without her, or maybe some trust issues is coming out because he's been gone or because he was talking to someone else and she saw that. The other thing that I want to say is that everything I'm saying here is just a speculation. I'm not here to diagnose any of the cast members. Obviously, that's not ethical. I don't know any of them. I'm not in a counseling session with them. The purpose of these videos is to talk about relationships or psychology in general, using the events that we see from the show. These videos or any YouTube videos are not a proper replacement for therapy. If you feel like you need therapy, definitely hire someone that you trust, and just use these videos as a jumping off point to talk about more educational topics.
I shut this and I sat in the closet and cried.
So I mentioned before that I suspect that with her past experience that it's possible for her to have preoccupied attachment style, and it seems like this might have been a good example of how it played out. She was saying that he left and she was feeling insecure and she cried, she was in the closet. I mean, that's a pretty severe reaction for your partner to be gone for 3 hours at an obligated party that he had to go to.
I had to be here alone. By myself.
I told you I didn't
for hours.
Go. Do you believe me? Do you trust me?
I'm not kidding. I don't trust anything right now.
Not even me.
Nothing.
Just for her to try to express that to him and essentially say that she doesn't trust him. Again, trust issues coming up, anxiety about the relationship is coming up, and she's having these negative thought patterns. Again, it has nothing to do with Nick, but with these attachment injuries that she's had in the past, and it's possible that she's had it multiple times with different partners, that she's starting to feel that she can't trust Nick, even though he didn't give her any indication to not trust him, because she has all of these old attachment injuries from past relationships and emotional baggage that she hasn't healed or let go of. It's easy for it to just kind of seep into your current relationship, and it doesn't matter how trustworthy they are or how perfect they are. If you don't heal your attachment injuries or deal with this emotional baggage or trust issues from past relationships, it will ruin and definitely seep into your current relationship. So that's definitely something that she needs to work on.
No, I'm done.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that went south pretty quickly.
Let me finish, please. You're not making the active effort to stop the toxicity.
He definitely could have worded that differently. It's not that she's being toxic, but the thoughts and the thought patterns that she has is toxic. And I think he was also caught off guard to hear that she doesn't trust him as well. And so maybe that's also triggering something in him, because we see that he gets visibly upset. He gets up and he just leaves. For someone who is preoccupied or anxiously attached, that's probably one of the worst things that you could do to them, is to have your partner just get up and leave, because you're already feeling anxious that this person is going to leave you. You're already anxious that this person doesn't love you, and to have them get up and leave can be extremely extremely, extremely painful. So do your best to communicate with your partner that you just need to have a moment to yourself and that you'll come back after, you walk around the block, or you'll revisit it the next day, something like that, just to kind of help reassure them, because now she's probably internally panicking and thinking like, oh my God, I ruined it. And that doesn't help in terms of finding a solution or resolving the conflict. We see that he does come back, and then he says that she's being toxic. Again, her thoughts are being toxic. If we have these thoughts that are extremely negative, again, from our past relationships, our past traumas, our old attachment injuries, and typically we'll have thoughts of, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable. We need to remind ourselves that thoughts are not facts. Our thoughts lie, and they lie a lot. If there's anything that you take away from my video right now, is that if you have a thought, more particular, a negative thought like I'm not good enough, or I'm not lovable, or I'm a failure, realize that thoughts lie a lot. You do not have to believe your thoughts. It's important to try to combat those thoughts and try to fight those thoughts because they're not true. It's not real. And for you to try to find truth and evidence in the opposite of what you're thinking at that moment. Again, when we're triggered and if we're in a moment of conflict, it's easy for those negative automatic thoughts to be running rampant. And especially she had 3 hours to sit and let those negative thoughts kind of marinate. If this is something that you realize like, oh yeah, this is something that I've gone through in my life, it could definitely be worked on with a counselor. I've helped so many people work through their emotional baggage from past relationships so it doesn't impact their current relationship or their future relationship.
Because I'm scared that they're going to be constantly seeking out someone else. And I'm like, they're always going to find someone skinnier. They're always going to find someone hotter.
Yeah. So preoccupied attachment style, anxiety, worried that your partner's going to leave you.
When I am bubbling up like that, that's not myself.
I get that.
It's true. It's not herself. It's her attachment injuries. She's being triggered. But if you are aware of that, chances are it's very difficult to be able to work on that ourselves because we don't have the tools or the training to be able to work on that. That's where going to therapy, go to a counselor, be able to work on that with someone else. You definitely don't have to do it alone. And it's not necessarily possible to always work on it with your partner because what will typically happen is that you'll try to get rid of those specific triggers. For example, if she's triggered by him talking to other women, then he'll just say, okay, that's fine. I won't talk to other women without you around. That doesn't mean that she's healing her attachment injuries. It just means that she's trying to control the environment around her so she doesn't get triggered. But that trigger is still there. That button is still there and it will be pushed one way or another. If it's not him talking to another woman, it's going to be him looking at a picture of a woman on social media or just a random picture of a girl popping up and she's going to get triggered by that. So you need to work on that. You need to heal that. You can't expect your partner to avoid all the triggers or avoid pushing the buttons at all times, at all costs. And of course, he can definitely help in making sure that she feels that sense of love or reassurance. And she could definitely communicate that with him as well. If she is feeling triggered or if she feels that she needs reassurance, she could just let him know that she's having feelings of insecurity. She needs him to hold her. She needs him to tell her that he loves her, that she's the only woman that he cares about. They could definitely find ways to work together and communicate that and communicate each other's needs. That's definitely a possibility as well, on top of hopefully her going to get therapy.
I'm scared that you're going to think that how I've been acting is how I'm going to act for the rest of our lives.
Again, it could be worked on, right? Go to a therapist,
I'm
go
really
to counseling.
Scared of you judging. You are judging me for it.
I'm not judging you for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you. I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to support.
So we see very quickly she's getting triggered again by just saying that she knows by the way he's looking at her, he's judging her. Those are our negative thoughts. We have that. We're making assumptions about what our partner is thinking or feeling. Humans cannot predict the future. We cannot predict what's going on in our partner's heads and vice versa. So we can't really make these assumptions. But again, just from her past hurts, her attachment injuries, she just automatically assumes the worst. And she just is making an assumption that he's judging her.
Like, I ever want you to think that I'm
Oh, good. Okay.
not thinking
So
that.
that's fine. Is he gonna hug her? Oh. Oh, that's good. And sometimes that's all it takes, is to show some physical affection and to show that you care. And so I'm really glad that he got up and he was able to just hold her, because, you know, that's another way to reassure our partner, especially if they're preoccupied or anxious attached. I said it before and I'll say it again, like, don't wait and don't try to figure it out on your own. Go to couples counseling, go to therapy, and figure it all out together, because chances are you're going to get triggered again and you're not going to know how to deal with it. But if you go to therapy or to a counselor, you'll have all the necessary tools and a better general understanding, because everyone is able to communicate, and you'll have the counselor there to be able to mediate those conversations. Imagine that you have a fracture in your leg. You're more likely going to go see a doctor. You're going to get help. You're going to listen to their recommendations. You might even go to physio. What you're not going to do is run a marathon with a leg fracture and thinking that you'll figure it out in the middle of the marathon. So I don't know why people would have that same type of idea or thought process or mentality when it comes to mental and emotional wellness. Don't overestimate your ability to be able to handle situations like this. It's new for everyone. We're not taught how to handle our feelings or our partner's feelings or emotions. Go to therapy.
Are you happy with everything that's been going on the last couple days with me?
Mm-hmm.
Besides me, like, ripping out your soul with all my energy? Is there anything else or no?
It is who you are, so I think it's fine.
That's the person you love, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you need a little more love than that or not?
He's clearly wanting some reassurance. He's also wanting some validation, I think, from Natalie to be enthusiastic about the relationship and to also show some affection towards him. This is just another example of him realizing that she's not able to, or maybe she's not willing to show that type of affection. I mean, she could have just said, yeah, of course, like, yeah, absolutely. But she just said, yeah. So again, I don't know, maybe this is her sense of humor. She's just joking around and she just expects him to know that she really does love him. And sometimes when you're meeting another person, you kind of need a little bit more. And I think that's what he's been trying to tell her this entire time, is that he needs a bit more. This is probably going to be a big conflict in the relationship. It's just there are differences in terms of showing each other the affection.
Why do we need to, talk about how great it is with other people?
Because we both joke around with each other a lot, though, right? Well, honestly, I brag all the time about us.
I know, and I want you to, but it's just not my style.
It's okay if it's not her style. It could be her upbringing, it could be her culture. That's definitely something that I can relate with as well. Growing up, my family was not super affectionate. We never really talked about how much we loved each other or anything like that. But, there was unspoken understanding that the love was there and the care was there, and we just show it in different ways. So maybe that's something that she's experiencing as well. And maybe she's just having a really hard time understanding why it's important to him. And maybe he's having also a hard time expressing why it is important to him. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate that. It's fine if he wants more affection, and it's just going to be something that she has to put a little bit more mindfulness and effort into in order to make him feel valued and more secure in the relationship. Everyone wants to feel that way when they're with a partner or they're in a relationship. They want to feel that they are valued and that they are loved. If he's not getting that from her, it might bring up a lot of feelings of insecurity or doubts. So I think it's really important for her to grasp the importance of that and how much he values it. And that's definitely something that they can work towards. Couples therapists can definitely help. Maybe they should have a couples therapist on one of the episodes where they all have to go to therapy. Netflix, if you're watching this, I volunteer my services.
I'm not upset about it. I'm just like...
And it's okay if he is upset about it.
Brag about it.
You're freaking out at me right now, I feel like.
I'm not
Uh-oh.
Raise my voice. I have a conversation with you.
I think she's starting to feel a little bit attacked, and I think she feels that, he's blaming her for doing something wrong, and she's just trying to defend herself. And we see that she's using a lot of you language, right? Why are you getting defensive? Why are you being weird about this? Instead of talking about her own feelings and her emotions. And she is trying to explain that maybe it's not her style. We've seen her in the pods that she's able to get to a place where she does talk about her feelings, and it's interesting that she's not getting to that place now. And I'm wondering if it's because they're physically already there, that, you know, it's distracting them from being able to really talk about their emotions. So that's pretty interesting.
I'm done.
Oh no! We see him get up and leave again. So this is the second time he's done that in conflict with Natalie. I don't think it's a good sign. Again, nothing got resolved and he's not really able to really express his feelings. Maybe he is feeling hurt. Maybe he's feeling insecure and he's not able to express that, so he up and leaves. Again, there was no indication of, you know, we'll talk about this later, or I need just time to think about it. He just ups and leaves, and that's not great to just abandon your partner in the middle of a fight. And this is a reoccurring pattern that we see also from him too, so this is going to be interesting. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you'll get more analysis videos of Love is Blind. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to check out my other therapist reviews videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, be kind and love yourself.